All right, a very big welcome to you, my awesome viewers and subscribers from all over the world. Thank you for joining me on another great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, earlier, I told you that the price of CNG, compressed natural gas, which is supposed to be the cheaper alternative to petrol, moved from 230 per standard cubic meter to 380, and motorists began complaining. They said it means that the gain of CNG over petrol has been eroded. But there is an update to that price. It has actually increased to 450 per SCM. Look at this. CNG price hits 450 per SCM as FG withdraws subsidies. Amid long queues and insufficient refilling stations, the cost of the standard cubic meter of compressed natural gas has jumped from 230 naira to 450 naira. Our correspondent gathered from retailers that the government reviewed the price recently to 450, reducing subsidies. Now, this is very sad because motorists spent 1 million, 1.5 million in some cases to convert their cars from petrol compliant to CNG compliant because they said CNG was cheaper. Now the government has turned around to remove subsidies from the CNG. So what is going to happen? Are they going to raise another 1.5 million to convert their cars back to petrol? What are they going to do? This is another consequence of terrible leadership. It is far-reaching and no man is immune. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming out of the Ministry of Education. This is perhaps the most hypocritical update you will ever see. And next is that tragic update coming out of the health sector. Doctors, young doctors are now collapsing and dropping dead in hospitals as a result of the extremely harsh policies of the Tinubu regime. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video, a very real one from Yusuf Dati. See the video.
If Buhari did not become president in 2015, I contested alongside Buhari for Senate. I contested for Senate in 2011. You have it on YouTube. He said, blood, soaked in blood, the baboon and the... Ever since he made that comment, I refused to go and campaign with Buhari. Refused completely. It didn't matter if I lost the Senate seat. I won it eventually. Insecure for a former president to say, you soak in blood. And then there was, Kaduna is my state. There was serious violence in Kaduna. Many houses were burnt. Emir's houses in Ongwansariki, Demna Abba had their houses burnt and all that, simply because of a statement. They went and brought in people from those neighboring places in readiness to remove Jonathan by all means. So the desperation of people to get Jonathan out of power has built up and added to what we call insecurity in Nigeria today.
So you saw that, a very real one there from Yusuf Dati, no mincing of words. Everything he said in that video about insecurity, I have said here repeatedly how the APC, Tinubu and Buhari and the rest of them came together and brought in those militias to fight Jonathan if he didn't give up power. And as soon as Jonathan said, okay, I surrender, congratulations Buhari, take power, they became confused and the rest is history. That is the terrorism that we have in Nigeria till date. And that is why I keep saying the APC has a hand in this. And as long as they remain in power, Nigeria will never be able to see the back of terrorism in this country. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here says, I wonder why people will sponsor terror in their country against their citizens just to score a political point. This is African man mentality. Same thing happening all over the uncivilized African countries, especially West and East Africa. That is exactly what the APC did in Nigeria. And this tweet here says, Buhari and APC are the worst thing to have happened to Nigeria. I was in the north in 2015. We saw the bandits of today being armed in preparation to release mayhem if the APC lost the elections. And he did it, Buhari did it together with the Southwest APC. So we can't blame him alone. And Temi here says, I really wish Dati will be Obi's VP in the coming election. He is an upright man, highly principled. Well, with the way things are going, it looks increasingly likely that the Obi Dati ticket will still be retained. Well, I've said it repeatedly that my major focus is not even the ticket. What I desire is a transparent process. Let the man with the most votes be the man that INEC will announce. Now, let us get to the top stories. First is that one coming out of the Ministry of Education, one of the most hypocritical updates that you would ever see. And next is that tragic update coming out of the health sector. Doctors, young doctors, are now slumping, collapsing and dropping dead in Nigerian hospitals as a result of the harshness of Tinubu's policies. Let's start by taking that update from the Ministry of Education. Look at how the papers reported it. Nigerian teachers to undergo mandatory criminal check ethics screening. The federal government has introduced a mandatory ethics and criminal screening verification framework for all teachers in private and public schools. The National Orientation Agency on Tuesday, in a post on X, reviewed a plan aimed at conducting a thorough background check on prospective teachers before they are employed. A justification credited to the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, noted that the initiative was envisioned to restore professionalism and accountability in the education system, as teachers are expected to be individuals of sound moral character. The agency said the framework will be integrated into the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria digital portal, enabling real-time registration, licensing, and monitoring of teachers. This move is expected to prevent impersonation, forgery, and the employment of unqualified staff in schools. Oh, so this is everything that you want to do with teachers. You want to prevent forgery. You want to prevent certificate falsification. You want to prevent impersonation amongst teachers. He said teachers are expected to be individuals of sound moral character. This is the highest hypocrisy that I've seen from this government. A government that has at least 15 people who forged certificates, forgery up and down, go to the National Assembly. You cannot count up to 50 people there that are using real certificates. And then you are saying that it is teachers that you want to scrutinize. You want to take them through criminal and ethics screening because they are supposed to be people of high moral standards. What a joke. And Bossman here says, what about the politicians? I think the Nigerian politicians too should go for mandatory criminal screening, mental screening, and character screening. They will all fail immediately. Is it not the Chicago case that we are still battling with one man like that? And Gideon Ahose here says, how about paying them a living wage that can encourage them to work as they ought to? They never speak about their wages. They never speak about making their lives better, always looking for ways to torture them. At the end of this screening, they will sack many of them, thereby increasing the unemployment figures in this country. What a tragedy. If Nigeria does not end the APC will end Nigeria. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that tragic update coming out of the health sector began making the rounds. The World Health Organization said that the standard operation for doctors is 1 doctor to 600 patients. But in Nigeria, we are operating about 1 doctor to 10 1,000 patients. Because our doctors have abandoned the country, they are fleeing the country in search of greener pastures, because the APC and Tinubu have destroyed the country. And that is now telling on young doctors. They are slumping and dropping dead in hospitals. Look at how the papers reported this one. Outrage as doctor dies after 72-hour shift in Rivers Hospital. A resident doctor at the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Oluwafemi Rotifa, has died after reportedly working a grueling 72-hour non-stop shift in the hospital's emergency unit. The incident, which has sparked outrage across the medical community, occurred shortly after the doctor, fondly known as Femoski by colleagues, retreated to the call room to rest after 3 consecutive days on call. He reportedly slumped and was rushed to the intensive care unit, where efforts to resuscitate him failed. It was reported by Vanguard that the late Rotifa was a former president of the Port Harcourt University Medical Students Association and had recently been registered with the UK General Medical Council, awaiting relocation for placement abroad. Confirming the incident on Tuesday, the president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Tope Osundara, described the death as preventable and blamed it on the overburdened health system and the chronic manpower shortages. He was the only doctor on duty in the emergency room and had been on call for 72 hours. The overuse of manpower and exhaustion killed him. This was a death on duty, Osundara said. He accused the government at all levels of turning a blind eye to the persistent cries of healthcare professionals, warning that unless urgent reforms are implemented, more young doctors will continue to die in similar circumstances. The NARD president further urged the federal government to immediately compensate the family of the deceased and enforce proper staffing policies that prevent doctors from working beyond human limits. How much do you want to give to the family of this Mr. Rotifa? How much? After training your son in the noble medical profession, suffering, if you know how some parents toil to train their children through medical school, 72 hours of straight work, no rest, because there were no doctors in the hospital. Our doctors have fled the nation because of hardship. They have fled in search of greener pastures. Even he that died was on his way to fleeing. If you followed the update really well, he was awaiting relocation. This is the situation in this country. Even that one doctor that was available for 72 hours was going to relocate soon before death took him. Our best hands are leaving the country in their thousands. And somebody is telling me that the government is working, that we should look at the bright side, that we should report good news. Where is the good news you want us to report? This is so sad. And it is pathetic that there are still Nigerians who don't understand what governance means. If you ask them what has Tinubu done, they will tell you revenue. He said that he has gathered revenue, the non-oil revenues that he wanted to have for the year 2025. He has had everything in the month of August by taxing you. So, and what have you gained from it? You ask them again, what has Tinubu done? They'll tell you he removed fuel subsidy. What have you gained from fuel subsidy? They'll say, go and ask the governors and lawmakers. He has tripled their allocation. He is working hand in hand with them. He knows they are embezzling the allocations. He gave them to embezzle so that they will support him in 2027. And he gets the largest share of the subsidy removal, and he's also embezzling his own. Wise up. You cannot point at one aspect of this country that is better than how Tinubu met it. Is it the naira to dollar rate? Is it the unemployment figures? Is it out of school children? Is it insecurity? You cannot point at one thing that is better after over 2 years in office. And Months ago, they switched completely into campaign mode, meaning nothing is going to change. If anything, it is going to get worse. So what we are seeing now, any good thing that you have not seen in these first 2 years of Tinubu and some months, you are not going to see again. This is basically the man's first 4 years, and it will be getting worse as we approach 2027. So how can anybody in his right senses be thinking about casting a vote for this Tinubu? When I say that he will not even get 3 million votes, I think even 3 million is too much. Who are the 1 million Nigerians that will give Tinubu genuine votes in this country? What will they be able to say he has done? Absolutely nothing. Young people are wasting away. If unemployment is not destroying their lives, insecurity is destroying their lives. If they are not getting kidnapped or killed by bandits, they are working in the hospitals and they are dropping dead because all their colleagues have fled Nigeria. This is pathetic. If Nigeria does not end the APC will end Nigeria. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.